Okay, so I introduced myself before. I'm Yvonne Farrand. I'm the General Manager of a global higher education network called Businet. So it's a long-standing network. It started in Belgium in 1987, so over 30 years. And it was set up basically to utilise the new European funding actually to mobilise students, staff, exchange best practice and create opportunities and a vehicle for universities to work together to benefit students and staff. So yeah, we're very active. We've been based for more than 30 years and we share lots of good practice, and this is one of the vehicles, and we disseminate and we get involved with other networks. Operating currently in 36 countries. Interestingly, Tallinn is just, I'm at the room at the moment, but yeah, we're also in Tallinn there. We currently have 144 members. Most of those members are higher education institutions, majorly across Europe, but we're spreading out more and more globally. We've got Chile, Costa Rica, so in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, so we do reach out as well past that. We also have a growing number of associate members, and these are majorly companies that work within education, training companies, consultancies like ourselves, who enhance that and take out us into industry as well. Oh, wrong one. Wrong laptop. Each year we have an annual conference where our members come together. This year it's in November, 5 weeks' time, very close. It's in Warsaw, and we move around, majorly around Europe, so it's in a different country every year. We have a student conference where students talk about employability and learn and experience learning. It'd be interesting to see how we can use game-based learning within that context as well. So they talk about getting into the world of work and employability. We operate via a series of working groups, so we have curriculum working groups, and we also have special interest working groups as well. So majorly around business education, but we have like law, STEM, entrepreneurship, and all of these come together to do activities for students and staff and produce projects as well out of those. That's the end of Businet. Do you want to do? You can get my contact details later, and I will know. Go back. Alan?
Yeah, so Yvonne talked about associate members of Businet. Well, we're one of them, and as I've already said, Projects Beyond Borders is an international education consultancy established 2015, and we are it. Okay, next slide.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're based in Huddersfield. For those of you who know it, it's in West Yorkshire in northern England, but we work with partners mainly in Europe, but further afield than that as well. We've been involved in a number of projects. Just a couple of them are up there. The third way was looking at developing learning materials for anyone wanting to enter social enterprise, and the other one, Entre MWB, is looking at the relationship between entrepreneurship and mental well-being, because one of the biggest sectors for mental illness actually in fact is young entrepreneurs. So that was a topic that we were looking very closely at. Right, and so that's that part of the introduction.
Yeah. So Alan's just mentioned a couple of those projects. I presented some of these in Thessaloniki as well. Some of these resonated as you were all speaking actually, because DigiAge is a project where it's looking at training the older workforce in digital skills, because the tendency at the moment is to get rid of older employees because younger employees have got the digital skills. So it's about keeping people in the employment sphere for a lot longer. Entre MWB, Alan's just mentioned, and I spoke about Game for Change there, which is the project that I'm involved in at the moment, where we're looking at next generation entrepreneurship, so creating games, which is quite traditional in business education, is to use games, but we're trying to work out, but we're trying to prevent that so that we can get teachers to gamify their own classrooms and create playful learning experiences in their own classrooms. And so far, that's a 3-year project, and we're just completing our first year, and we've just done the teacher training, which we're now evaluating and refining to go through, and we'll be creating gamification. A gamification platform where the resources are there so that teachers can go and find those materials and experiment and play within their own learning environment. Alan again has mentioned the third way. We also have another project which is VR for Skills, and that's looking at using virtual reality to train training within higher education, but for non-teaching staff, so the more administrative staff, and how they use that within their environment as well. Just got 2 new projects, so I don't know much about these at the moment because these 2, we've got challenge-based learning and Inspire, and the Inspire one is actually within tourism, and that's looking at the refugees and how they can be used, not used, that's not the wrong word, that's the wrong word, how they can move into the hospitality and tourism sectors within their host countries, to learn vital skills for when they move back to their own countries, they can rebuild their hospitality and tourism sectors. So those are the new projects that we have.
Is this Inspire one with a French game studio, Manzel Lab? I think?
No, it's not. Right. No, I was saying, and it's very new. It's not actually started. It's that we only got notified about it on Friday. Right. So it's we've got a number of partners that are all part of Businet, but it's Irish-led, this one. But no. We do have a French partner, but I don't think it's that one.
Okay.
Okay, you want to?
Yeah, Yvonne told me that one of the briefs I had was to talk about funding. And from my point of view, there's nothing more boring in this world than a long lecture on funding. So I'm going to do it in about 2 minutes. Now, the quickest way, if you want to find out what's out there in terms of funding opportunities in Europe, is to use CEDIA. And CEDIA is an acronym which is the Single Electronic Data Interchange Area, and that's the link to it. And it's really useful.
Yeah, because obviously you talked about Horizon, but there's a huge array of funding that we've not looked at as well, so that's the way to find that. We can, somebody's just writing it down, so I won't actually change the screen just at the moment. We can send it to you afterwards. Okay.
And when you get onto that website, this is what it looks like. You've got 26 European programmes there to choose from. And if you click on any one of them, it will tell you what tenders are available or what funding programmes or whether they're currently active or whether they're not. So it's really useful to get a quick overview. Next one.
It's not only for academic institutions.
No, not at all. And just to give you an example, these are just some of the ones from my own point of view that I thought were the most interesting, and ones perhaps that do provide funding for quite specialised projects. So Erasmus we've talked a lot about. There are 3 key actions, as you probably know: centralised and decentralised. Some are run from Brussels directly, and some are run from national agencies in different countries. The best way to find out also what's going on is to always check for the call for proposals. There's one available every year, and that'll tell you, what programmes are available, and crucially, the submission dates. But there's other interesting stuff. There's Connecting Europe, EU for Health, European Social Fund, of course, and other forms of structural funding, and Horizon. And Horizon is, as you probably know, an immense programme with many pillars, and within those pillars, many clusters. And from my own point of view, the one I particularly caught my eye was Pillar 2, Cluster 1 Health. But there's far more than that, as I'm sure you know. So that is the end of the funding section.
And in fact, I don't know if you actually mentioned Alan earlier, I can't remember, but actually Alan doesn't EU assess for the EU under the Erasmus. Which one is it? Useful Knowledge Alliance.
Under centralised knowledge alliances.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 3 questions for you, but we don't want you to just shout out questions. We've got about 15 minutes that we can just talk about these, and well, you can group yourselves. We'll have about 4 4 groups or 3
Three.
groups? Yeah, 3 groups because we've got 3 questions. That would make sense. So,
But not those.
oh, sorry, those are the ones I asked in Thessalonica. Sorry,
Not that one
was
either.
it.
The next one. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so we made lots of questions. Okay, so what we would like to know is, for the first group, is going to be, what for you is the purpose of this network, the EU-FairPlay network? Why are you here? What brought you here? And what do you hope to get out from it? And Alan will talk through how you're going to do that in a minute. Second group will be, what's the next step in the vision of your research journey? What are the main challenges that stand in your way of achieving your vision? And the third one, can you see your research project as a potential EU or other funded project? And what would that project look like? Who might be your ideal partners? Who will be your target beneficiaries? And how would you disseminate and exploit the results of that through this network or other networks like Businet? So those are obviously a little bit too in-depth, but that one a bit too in-depth for 15 minutes, but to just have a think about why you're here and what could where you could take it next. I've got bits of paper so you can scribble down. Alan, you talk through.
Yeah, okay. And against all of those was an interesting term in brackets. These are the methods I suggested we might want to use. For example, the 5 why method for question 1. You know, why are we here?
You're the scribe.
Well, to network. Why do you want to network? So the 5 why method is about imagining yourself as a 2 or 3-year-old. Keep asking the question why to find out, you know, the deeper underlying motives of your reasons for being here. So that's the 5 why method. The next one is the mandala diagram, which basically is about having a vision, which in our case is turning maybe your research into a funded project. But what are the challenges? And what are the ways that you can overcome those challenges? So for that particular topic, I would suggest you focus on just what are the challenges that prevent you from converting your research into a funded project and how you think they can be overcome. And the last one,
For those of you
the
in
lotus
Thessalonica,
blossom.
you know this one. Yeah.
Some of you will have known this before. Key question in the middle, and what you need to do is fill up the squares. So probably best to go back to the original questions.
Yeah.
So those are the
Okay.
3
In
questions.
terms of groups, shall we go group 1? 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah. Group 2, 4 at the back up to Richard. You can join wherever you like. Because you're sat out of sync. Actually, that probably doesn't. Yeah, you can join group 1 and then the rest of you group 3.
Wow, 3.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.